why would I want design from a century that was mid? Today we're going to look at some mid-century design, how it was done, specifically graphic design and the popular style of the mid-century, namely the 40s, 50s, 60s, and the early 70s, even into the 80s, they were utilizing this design style. And it's made quite a comeback, and personally, it's my favorite, so this is a special video for me. We're gonna go ahead and look at some references. I'm on Pinterest here, and this is probably the best example that I have found of my personal favorite type of mid-century design, where it has this kind of quirky furniture. This looks like some sort of lamp, and we've got some clean type and whatnot. It's got a little border on it. You see, namely sans serif fonts. There are some serif fonts condensed together, but mostly you're gonna see sans serif fonts. These are gonna be kind of ink trappy as well. These fonts have really made like a comeback in web design, where they had these little ink traps in them, but they were very, very popular for this kind of mid-century design. A lot of promotion for like furniture and home pieces and whatnot. As we scroll through, we can find some more, and I've already collected a lot of these and put them in my project so that we can make some designs of our own. This one's really, really cool. This is an example where you see that serif type, very, very clean 90s looking serif type. And this is actually a redesign, right? So this is IKEA taking that mid-century style and then making an ad. So they've kind of combined two trends, which is mid-century and 90s together. So this isn't directly like a mid-century design. Obviously, this was made by IKEA more recently, but they've kind of combined those two styles of the 90s and the mid-century, which I think is really, really cool. We've got some other ones here. And so we're starting to see kind of a trend, right? So it's namely, like I said, the sans serif fonts, and they're pretty close together. They like to tighten the kerning or the letter spacing, the space in between the letters, pretty tight together. You don't really see a lot of spaced out sans serif type in these designs. And then what you're gonna see is a lot of cutouts. So they're gonna take their product, their chair, their lamp, their desk, their credenza, whatever the product is that they're trying to sell, even food, and they're gonna cut it out and they're gonna put it on a background, usually like an off-white, tan, or a cream background. So we're seeing a little bit more of that here. I did want to highlight a different type of mid-century style design, graphic design, and that is the more colorful type of mid-century design. Still a lot of cutouts, so you can see here, there's a combination of sans serif and serif type for this, and what you're gonna see here is a lot of these colors. Now, these are fantastic colors, and I'm going to give you the hex codes for these in a minute so you can use them on your own, but these colors, this palette just works amazing together. So I've gathered my references here in my Kittl project. I've just got two artboards, and we're gonna make two different posters. This is the most common application that I see of this style nowadays, is somebody's making a poster for their room, or they're trying to make a digital product or an Etsy product or something that is this design style. Very, very, very popular with poster design right now. And so here are the two different types next to each other. So this is gonna be the more clean, off-white type and image focused. You know, you've got your cutout and you've got your type, little typography layout, done, and you call it a day. Over here, same kind of concept, but we're adding quite a bit of color in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just make some swatches over here. I'm gonna grab some different shapes, and then I'm going to color drop all of these colors, and then I'll list them right here on the screen for you. So I can just click on each of these, boop, drop that color, color dropper again, nice off-white, and we'll repeat these with all of the colors. Okay, and I got all of them, and interestingly enough, this type right here is not flat black. It's like a very, very dark brown, which is interesting and really, really nice. Pro tip, you could, if you did this yourself, you could select all of these colors and hit this little tidy button right here, and it'll space out those blocks for you so it's not crowded around your workspace. For your reference, here are all of those hex codes and colors. Feel free to pause the video and write these down. So let's get into our first poster design over here on the left. First, I'm going to select my background here, and I'm gonna make this a nice off-white color. I can try a different color from these, and I'm really liking this one. It's not too yellow, but it's not too grayish white, and there is a tiny difference there, but it is going to make a bigger difference once you start putting elements on top of that. Having that nice soft background instead of a flat white. Flat white is just so cold and digital, and we really want this to be a little bit warmer. For my subject, I actually have this awesome book called Design of the 20th Century. This is a fantastic book if you like furniture, if you like mid-century design. This is absolutely amazing. So if you flip through, you can just see all these different kinds of like mid-century furniture pieces, chairs, couches, and whatnot. And some of them are like super eclectic. Some of them you might seen before, like the Eames lounger that's super famous isn't in here. So I'm just gonna flip through and find a nice furniture piece that we can highlight in our poster. See, I haven't even found what I want yet, but this is so interesting. Like literally, this is a stapler and a coffee mug. Look at the design of these objects. I mean, this is awesome. It's really during an era where everything had so much character and so much color. So I think that this lamp right here is pretty dope. So that's a big contender. I'm gonna keep looking. If I don't find anything better than this, then I'm going to take a picture of this. I do like this image specifically because there's nice definition between the subject and the background. Like I said, a lot of these are cutouts, and if you're trying to use an image where there's not a lot of contrast between the foreground, the subject, and then the background for the AI to cleanly cut out your image, it's gonna be a worse time. It's not gonna be a bad time, but it's gonna be a worse time. You're gonna make it more difficult for you to design well if you start off with a picture that's harder to use.
A few minutes later.
So I did find this dope Eames chair. So I'm going to take a picture of this and remove the background for my first poster. There was definitely some more quirky type of pieces in this that I definitely loved, but I'm gonna try to appeal to a little bit larger of an audience and just use something that's a little more tame. Just take a picture of that, and we can airdrop this over to my computer. So I've got my upload here from my phone, and I'm just gonna use the AI background remover. It may not get that section in the middle, and it looks like it didn't, but that's okay because I can use the eraser tool to get rid of that here. I've always said this, you know, the more time that you spend on this, the better result that you're gonna get. I'm trying to get some of those kind of fabric imperfection as well, not just get it totally smooth, because I want it to look a little bit more natural. Doesn't have to be 100% accurate, but and your result's going to be different from, you know, with everything that you decide to remove the background from. The good thing is that this doesn't cost any credits. So if you try something, doesn't really work that well, and you want to try something different, you haven't wasted any credits, and you can just keep on moving. Cool, that looks great to me. And we're gonna use our references here. And I think that I wanna do some sort of nice title down on the bottom. So I might put this a little bit in the upper 2/3 to give me space to put a nice title like this. And I still have my page open, so I have like a description that I can pull text from. Honestly, that's one of the hardest things sometimes, is like knowing what text to use. I think that's good right there. I'm just gonna hit T to add some text, and we're gonna look for a nice font. Something like Familiar and Grotesque might work really, really well, but there are some other good options. So I'm just gonna condense this together. Ooh, that already looks super nice, even more. I like how these letters are like touching. Regular, the lighter weight is nice because it's kind of like that. And let's see, I could just put something like Eames. And there are 2 contributors to this, so I'm just figuring out how to lay out my text. So I'm gonna put that there and right align it. And this is really just about getting creative with the text layout. So I'm gonna put his first name there. And so we've got the first largest contributor, the more famous name. Might make that a little smaller actually. And then I'm gonna take this same text box and put it down here. And we're just going to take this text box and condense that together, get that line spacing nice and tight, and make that a little smaller. And so this is kind of some trial and error, right? There's not like a one-size-fits-all solution to doing this kind of mid-century text for these designs. You kind of just have to play with it and try different things until you find something that you like. I would encourage you to spend more time than usual on just the text, because that's really what is going to bring the design together. Essentially, I would work on it until I see something that I'm like, ooh, it makes you actually stop and be like, that's really, really nice. So I like the spacing of this at -20. So I might grab my other two text boxes and make those -120 as well. And I get, the comments on,
oh, it's less readable, and
but you really have to ask yourself with something like this, is the point for somebody to stop and actually read it and get the information, or is the design value of it more important? For this application, if I was going to use this as a poster in my office, I don't care. I want the text to look cool. So you have to, what is your application here? Mine is to look cool. So I don't really care that much about readability. So I think that's starting to look pretty cool, a little quirky. Might do something like that. And this is what I mean by experimenting. Like, that looks cool in a certain context, maybe not necessarily for this, but I do want something right there. I've seen, like in this poster over here, they do this thing where they'll make a shape, but they just make it the stroke of the shape, and then they'll put like a number inside of it. So we could just put 7, because that's my favorite number, and then I'm gonna grab a circle shape. I may just stretch it out a tad to be like an oval, get rid of that color fill, and then add a border. And then we're gonna size this guy down to put our little 7 in. Maybe that weight needs to come up a little bit. Something like that looks really nice. And I'm going to, just for the purposes of being able to center this, I'm gonna center my text box and then click this guy and then center that up. Now I can group it and put it wherever I want. And I want that to be top aligned with that E, but not interfere with that S, and be right aligned here. So, and this is what I mean by experimenting, because I actually think it might be kind of cool if we ungroup this, take that, add a fill, but make it that background color. If we can find the correct background color, I'll just color drop this. And now it's like on top of that S, like a cutout. Might make it a little bit more defined. Yeah, that's pretty sick. I like that. It's fun, it's quirky, it looks nice. I'm gonna go for it. Cool, I'm gonna pull some other text from this right here and see if I'm terrible at typing this. Cool, that's a lot of text. I might actually end up breaking that up into 2 different text boxes. And so for something like this where there's like a lot of type, I'll be realistic and I'll open up the spacing of that. And I want something right here, so I might click into this, copy that, and just put 1940 right here. Then we can maybe size that guy up. And like I said, we just got to play around with some different layouts. See which one ends up feeling the best. I don't hate something like that, where it's like 1, 2, 3 in like steps. Now I think I'm good with this layout. I like this layout a lot. Now I just want to put something up at the top, just so I can have something up there. The cool thing with these cutouts is that you can just put them in front and then have them come over top of the text, depending upon like what color it is, if it looks good together, and like where it's placed. You know, you could do something like that. I do like that. I might make this smaller. I want my attention to be drawn to that less. Yeah, for this design style, it's a lot of like command, like undo, redo, undo, 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 redo, redo, like just to see different layouts. Sometimes I'll copy and paste that artboard multiple times to see which one I like the most. So I actually think that something like this is the most attractive to me. Right aligning that text with the 1940, this is left aligned with that, and then Eames is over here with the number. By itself, I'm gonna say that that is good, and then get some text for up here. So luckily there's more text that I can use. And we're gonna center align that. And I'm just gonna make that pretty small. Making it upside down would actually be pretty sick. But I already know it's a little wacky, so I won't go that wacky. And let's try negative 100 on this. And I think that looks great. Some things I'm looking for here, you know, that the space between this line and the top and the space between this line and the top is relatively the same. It doesn't have to be exact, but I want it to be relatively the same space. And then I could even come in here and play with my background color just a tad. And something that look like that looks awesome. I love that. So here's my first design, the one that is more cut out and type heavy rather than color heavy. All right, moving on to the second design here. It's way more color heavy. You see a lot of color blocks and whatnot. It's very eye-catching and it's really, really nice, really nice. I mean, there's some that are a little more simple and less colorful, which are great, but these colors, man, they interact with the photography really, really well. I would say that that's crucial. Having a good photo that interacts with the color really, really well is gonna be crucial for this. You don't wanna have a photo with trash colors and then you put it on top of these and you're like, why do I not like it? Why does it not look like the reference? Well, you have to ask yourself that question. Why does it not look like the reference? Is the color in the photo of the reference a lot better than yours? Maybe you need to try a different photo. So I am going to find a dope table. So this is actually a pretty dope photo that I just found from the photo panel, and I'm gonna see how the background remover does with this. I like the colors of this, it's pretty nice. Not too bad. I might grab the eraser tool and kind of straighten this out a little bit. Maybe this book as well. And let's see what this looks like on the background of some of these colors. It's pretty cool. I like the blue. The red is nice. I think the yellow is gonna be the winner here. This is very like quirky, fun, cool cutout. I actually did a pretty good job. Not to toot my own horn, but that was a pretty good eraser job. You can also do something like this where they've cropped the photo and they have that. I've seen people do that, but then they have like a very small black edge around that. You could take a black square, rectangle, and then just put it behind the photo. To give it a border, that'd be really, really nice. But I think I'm gonna place this somewhere around here. I like the layout of this, so like text, something here. We've got our object here, some text, and then a title at the top. It's pretty nice. And you know, this is an example of where if I just align this center, it doesn't look like it's center because this comes out here, so you have to optically align this, right? So if I put it here, it actually feels more like it's in the center because of how the weight with the image is distributed on the canvas. Might actually up the contrast of this a tad, and it's a little bit more colorful, so that's pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna add some text, and I'm gonna look for a nice sans serif font that gives me that kind of vibe right there. That's what I'm looking for. And I did this in another video, but usually I can, you know, type out what is in the reference that I'm going for so that I can kind of see how close the letters are. That's pretty close. I might need to try to find something that's a little bit more condensed. That is pretty cool. It's that same cutoff Y vibe. It's a little quirky in a different way for me though, so not exactly what I'm going for. Cal Sans is a good one. It's a little bit more Art Deco than mid-century, but it is a good one, very close. As of right now, Public Sans is the closest. I won't give up yet. This is like the most important part, is finding a good font. Epilogue looks really nice as well. If Familiage and Grotesque had a font weight greater than bold, that might be nice. Yeah. Okay, so I like this font a lot. I don't know if this fits the vibe. It looks like it may. There's some awkward gaps here, so I might just be more definitive and close it up and see if that makes it feel better. And what does this look like if I just close these lines? Now, the only thing that I don't like with this is the space between the U and R, so we're gonna close this just a tad more and see if it feels better. That's one of our options. This is another one of our options. I don't like that as much. It's too wide. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this one, but I might actually, on between the super close together and then more normal. I'm gonna open this up. And I like something like that. We don't have kerning of individual spaces yet. We do have that on the radar. That is coming, they're working on it, but which would be super helpful. But as of right now, we're gonna use this. This might actually need to be a little darker. Saturate the colors a little bit more. I wonder if adding contrast will help. Let's try something like that. And I'm gonna do a little fun shape like they've done here. I'm just gonna look through these and see what I can find. So I'm just gonna look for a nice little shape to put some text in. I actually like this. I might be able to stretch that out. And I like this as well. So I'm gonna put both of these in here and I'll use them in different spots. I'm going to stretch this guy out and size that down. I wanna make sure that this is also our like brownish color. It's already making that look a little bit more nice, a little more retro. And let's see, what color should we go with? The red? It's pretty nice, green, blue. I'm gonna start with the red, and it looks like we can put a little border around that. Something like that. Maybe it needs to be a little thicker because it's a little more quirky. And I'm gonna find a nice serif font, and I think I'm gonna use Instrument Serif. And I'm just going to close this letter spacing quite a bit. It looks super nice. Put that in our little shape. I could have also put it in the shape and then tilted them both together, and that would ensure that they're both on the same angle. Close that a little bit more, because if you can see right here, I'm getting some weird gaps. So I'm just gonna close that a little bit more and make that a little more defined. And I'm gonna get kind of fun with this and just do a little exclamation point. And that helps even out this text box with that D right there. And that's our nice brown color as well. Cool. I'm even thinking about getting rid of this plant, like literally just erasing it, because I like the green, but I don't like the silver of the pot. So if it was just the credenza, also you can use the brackets on the keyboard to make your eraser bigger or smaller. Good thing is that it auto crops when you've erased something. So now I can center this guy up, and I'm liking that a lot better. I like that a lot better. It just feels more balanced. And I'm gonna take this little diamond right here, and I'm gonna see where this feels nice on this design. Color, maybe blue. Add that same border. It's pretty nice. And this is experimentation too, right? I'm trying to figure out where this fits the most, and then also what color works the best here. I think that the green looks nice. And we're just gonna put a little text in here. And I wonder if we just size this up, then we're gonna have to bring the border weight down, right? Because we want it to match that other one. Something like that is pretty cool. I wonder if I actually take this text and I put it down here. I like the idea of that very, very much. Yes, I do. Fit that in there. Have that shape go behind. See, this is a lot of experimentation. I wasn't lying. Take this same text, put like order today. That looks super nice. It's all about balance. Anything that you can do to make your entire composition feel more balanced, right? I'm not looking at individual spots of the composition. I'm looking at the whole thing. Better, smaller. And I'm gonna add a little Familigen Grotesque box here. Close up that letter spacing. I don't even know what this is, but we'll just say the perfect credenza. Is over. It's all about being a little quirky, and sometimes you just gotta sit there and stare at it. That feels a little bit better, a little more balanced, because I've got this going this way and this is going that way. Let's see here. Might actually like this being a little bit bigger. Gotta make sure all of our text is the correct color. I don't like this credenza that much anymore, so I'm gonna find a different one. So I found this pretty dope one that might even fit better with the color of this design. And I'm liking that more. And I'm gonna place that right there and reposition this just a tad. And that's looking nice and balanced to me. I love it. Looks great. I wonder if I can do like a little glyph here. And then just put this little guy kind of like there-ish. That looks great. I love it. Looks perfect. Maybe I can beef this guy up a little bit. Medium. Boom. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm going to take this text and let that be aligned with that Y there. And I'm gonna call that done. So this is my second design, the more colorful one. Hopefully this video was super helpful. I absolutely love this design style. So if you would like more videos like this, even if it's the same concept, but I do more, I do like 3 of each of these types of designs, drop a comment down below and tell me to do it. Tell me to do it, and we'll do it. If you're not subscribed already to the Kittl YouTube channel, you need to do that now, especially if you're a Kittl user. If you're not a Kittl user, you can head on over to Kittl.com and try Kittl today for free. And if you are a free user, or you're gonna go try it out and you like it and you wanna upgrade to a little bit beefier of account, a pro or an expert plan, we have a promo code for you in the description of this video to get a percentage off today. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Thanks again so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video.